Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do my full review, sort of follow up on the Quiet Carry Waypoint. So this is a knife that I had back in the day. You can actually watch my full review on it it was probably late last year or early this year, back when the channel really started, right? And I had one of these, and I really liked it, but I had a gripe about it that actually ended up making me sell it, right? And then recently I had been working with Quiet Carry on the Quiet Carry Drift. They sent me a G10 Quiet Carry Drift to check out. I asked them if I could buy one, maybe get a discount, and they graciously sent me one. So then I asked about the Waypoint because I figured it'd be good to get one of these again and compare those, right? And they sent me one of those. Bryce is an awesome dude over there. They've sent a bunch of giveaway stuff in the past. So just a great company to support. Plus, I love that they do this rust-proof sort of thing, and they use Vanex, which is my favorite steel currently. And I did a battle video between the Drift and the Waypoint. And I believe the Waypoint won that, and in my heart, the Waypoint wins. And it's interesting because the Waypoint does some things that I don't normally like so much. It's on washers, right? It doesn't drop shut at all. You literally can't really shake it. Okay, it's definitely smoothed out, but like I had to shake it a good bit, to get it to do that. The way I open and close it is I flick it open and then I close it like this. This is how I close it. And this sort of has its own fidget to it. It's weird. I enjoy fidgeting with this knife in this way. It's interesting. But anyway, so it does those things a little weird. It's thumb studs only, which for me, I don't really... I mean, if you look at my collection, I maybe have like 4 knives with thumb studs, that I truly like, but I love this knife. This is one of my favorite knives. Hands down, it's one of my favorite knives. It's not the fidgetiest knife in the world or anything like that, but the performance of this knife in terms of cutting ability, sliciness, thinness behind the edge, stock thinness, how lightweight it is, how sturdy it is for being lightweight, how rust-proof it is. That's so important to me, personally. I rust knives so easily, and especially in the summer months, it is absolutely brutal. Like, it got to the point where I, needed to carry a Quiet Carry to be able to have a knife on me without rusting it, right? Yeah, I just really fucking love this knife, and I wanted to kind of give it a re-review. It's sort of like, a year later review sort of thing, like I did with the F5, except I've always had an F5, There was 6 months where I didn't have a Waypoint. But since I got this back from them, I basically have not really carried the Drift much. I'll pull that out so you can see it. This is the G10 Quiet Carry Drift. It's also in Vanex super clean steel. It's also a liner lock on washers. It's also got great thumb stud action. You can thumb flick it. You can reverse flick it. That's why I wanted the liner lock G10, so I could reverse flick it, because the titanium one is a frame lock, where this titanium one is a liner lock. I truly enjoy this knife. This was my work knife this summer. It was always in my pocket when I did yard work. So this went through a lot of weed whacker cord. It went through some plants and shit, cutting away weeds and whatnot. Anything I needed, right? Opening bags of fertilizer, opening bags of mulch, whatever, right? This was there. And it did an absolutely fantastic job while not having issues with rust, right? One of the things people complain about with Vanex is it's not as tough as, say, LC200N, which is also rust-proof. But your trade-off is Vanex has better edge retention, right? And for me, that's more important because of the things I'm doing, cutting bags, cutting paper, a lot of shipping labels, guys. My knives go through tons of shipping labels. The tip is very important to me, and where it is in terms of relationship to my hand, right? But I'm not chopping trees down. I'm not cutting into tough material with staples in it, like, cardboard, paper, bags, limbs, but like we're talking about like weeds, not like something super stiff, right? The weed whacker cord might be the toughest thing these knives have had to go through, right? And that's not enough to damage the edge on Vanex. But anyway, I love the drift. But it's a little smaller, right? You got a 3-inch blade where on the Waypoint you get about 3.3 inches. Let me grab something to show you. This is my Malibu channel knife, channel mascot, right? You can see the size comparison. They're pretty much dead nuts in terms of size. And this, I'm fairly positive, is a 3.3-inch blade, is what it's advertised as. So you're looking at 3.3 inches, maybe 3.4 if you want to, go there. This is the Blade HQ S45 exclusive, which is dumb that it costs more and comes in S45, but whatever. So, yeah, I really like this knife. It has a fantastic hollow grind. I can actually talk about the cutting ability on this knife because I've cut with it. I've used it a lot. A lot of times I defer that part and I say, if you want to know in-depth on cutting and that type, go check out Neve's Knives, because I know he has one of these and has extensively used it. He had some issues with his, but like he uses it, right? So he can tell you exactly how he feels about this blade personally, right? Stasa 23 is another guy you can go check out who's probably going to have real life experience with the knife. But I also do in this case, and I fucking love it. I mean, the ergos for me, it just fits my hand so well. I go right into this index swell right here, or choil, and then the rest of my fingers, it's so neutral. It just wraps around. It's thin, but it's still comfortable. I can, bear down pretty hard without feeling sort of cramped or pinched or anything like that. It feels really good in hand. And again, I just have good control of the knife. So if I want to climb up here and kind of get closer to the edge to do something where I'm being more precision cutting, like when we went to an apple orchard, I'm pretty sure I had this knife on me and I was cutting up apples for my daughter, and I'm just slicing off pieces, but I got to get the skin off first and then cut a chunk, right? You get good control with it, but it's so thin, and slicey that it's just excellent, guys. Hollow grind is fantastic. I will say, if there's anything to kind of poo-poo on the Waypoint, is maybe the factory edge is not the best. I don't know if it's burnt edge or whatever. I'm not the expert on that, but I've heard from other people as well that first sort of factory edge just didn't hold up very well. And I might have to concur with that, because I had this, I cut some cardboard, some paper, whatever, and I kind of felt like it needed a new edge after that. And it was only like I had it for a week or two. And then my buddy Joe put his KME mirror edge on it, which for me, I get it. If it's going to be like a work knife, does the mirror edge make the most sense? No, but it's super sharp and it looks fucking sexy, and I'm cool with that. Plus, now it's not the summer anymore, and I'm not really out there, putting it through a bunch of stuff. It's become more of just an EDC at this point. But this hollow grind, man, it just feels so good. The fact that this blade is that thin already, I mean, it's got to be like, what, 0.9 on the stock? 0.09, sorry. Let me zero this thing out. What are we at? 0.9. 0.9 on that. That's to start with. And then you're going down to a hollow grind. I mean, it's just dumb, right? Just super slicey. And that keeps the whole package so slim. And then if we want to talk about like action and stuff, the thumb stud is so good. The flickability on this is really good. It has a solid detent. Very good. Right-handed, you get plenty of access. And this is where, this is where I had a gripe with this in my full review back early this year or last year. And that's, as a lefty, you don't get very much access. You see how much room is there behind the stud? Here, you don't get that. But they must have done something, because this knife, the new one I have, I can flick it out no problem left-handed. And my issue with it before, the first one I had, is I would slip over it. Like, sometimes I would miss it completely because it didn't have the proper access. So my thought is maybe they extended the thumb studs out just a touch so that you get a little more traction. Either that, or somehow I've learned how to flick better left-handed with the thumb, which is possible. You can see I have like calluses here, and maybe I didn't have that before. But the reverse flick works great left-handed because you have all that room that you don't have on the thumb side for a lefty. Right-handed, obviously it's great. You get that great thumb access, and then the reverse flick, you can get behind it. Sometimes I struggle with the righty reverse flick on this. I don't know why. There you go. But normally when I'm just sitting here fidgeting, I have no issues. It flicks out great. And if you want to slow roll it out, you can. You just kind of walk it out, right? That works. But I usually do a reverse flick or thumb flick, and then I close it like this. Just close it like it's a Sebenza, right? This really does give me Sebenza vibes. Like, I've thought this many times, and I had, I believe, the Waypoint and the Sebenza at the same time at one point. I personally don't understand why you would buy a Sebenza when you could get this for $300. So you could save, you know, $75 if you get a small one, which if you get a small one, you're not even getting 3 inches of blade, I don't think. And if you get a large one, it's like $425 or $450, and you probably get a little, maybe an extra 0.1 inches or 0.2 inches. You get, I think, 3.5 inches on a full-size Sebenza. But this is like the perfect size. It's so like epic in terms of carry with that deep carry wire clip to the butt end. You get way better steel. I mean, Van X does everything S35VN does except it's stainless. Fully rust-proof, right? Whereas S35 does not have, I don't think it has better edge retention than Van X. I don't think Van X is up there with like M390 or whatever in terms of edge retention, but it's definitely at the S35VN range. I'd say Van X is kind of like LMAX in terms of that, sort of between S35 and M390. But you get that rust-proofness or whatever. You get an LC200N liner, titanium scales, you know, marine-grade hardware, so nothing can rust on this. You get the epic hollow grind. I mean, the Sebenza has a nice hollow grind as well, but, I mean, like, I don't understand why would you spend more money to get less knife, right? I don't know. That's just my thought on it. I think it's a very similar blade shape. It's not as tall as a Sebenza blade, I guess, and it's not as tall in general. It's a little slimmer. But I think the ergos are better, especially compared to the small Sebenza, because you get more room, right? But that's just me, you know. Obviously, I'm going to get some flack for talking about Chris Reeve or whatever. I also love the construction on this. You have your pivot screw, and then you have a body screw, and that's it. I mean, that takes the knife apart, and you're good to go. That clip can stay on there. You have a backspacer that's pretty small, and then you have 2 washers, one on either side, obviously, that are very, very nice. Very smooth. I mean, if you want to talk about glassy or whatever, talking about the Sebenza, this has all of that. It has all of that, yet you can actually flick it out from factory. Makes more sense to me. So I'll stop talking about that because I know I'm annoying people. But basically, I love this knife. And I'm so glad I got another one in the collection. I can't recommend it enough to right-handed people or left-handed people. It's an excellent work knife. I mean, I get it. If you're doing like crazy shit, maybe not. But anything you guys would fucking say you'd use your Sebenza for, you could use this for. I mean, maybe the blade stock's thinner. Is that an issue? I don't know. It's going to be slicier. I don't know. You're probably going to sharpen it less because, you know, Chris Reeves' S35 is very soft, so it doesn't chip or whatever, but it loses its edge really quickly, whereas this is going to hold it pretty fucking well, at least in my experience, after that factory edge. That's the caveat. At least on mine, I needed to get through that factory edge, and then it's solid, right? Occasional stropping has been great on it. So, I don't know. I just love this knife, and I want to talk about it because it's a knife I really use. You know what I mean? Like, out doing stuff in the yard and whatnot. And that's not the case with every knife for me, right? A lot of my knives are just EDC knives. So, I don't know. I just had it in pocket, and I was like, you know what? I got to do an update on the Quiet Carry Waypoint. So, that's it, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, that would be awesome. I'd really love if you subscribed. If you hit the like button on this video, that would be great. If you want to join the memberships, there's a join button down there. I also have a Patreon. There's a link in the description, along with a ton of links and discounts for you guys if you want to use them. That's basically what they're there for. If you want to use them. If you don't, that's fine. Most of them give you a discount and also help the channel. Some only help the channel, but again, you're helping the channel, which is great. I really love you guys. I appreciate all your feedback. Please let me know what you think about the Waypoint. Do you think the Waypoint is a Sebenza killer? Because I do. I have absolutely no desire or need to get a Sebenza after having a Waypoint. Just doesn't make sense to me unless I just wanted the look of the Sebenza. Maybe, and I kind of do want like a Tanto Sebenza 31, but it would have to be lefty, and they don't make those. I don't think so. I'd want a plain Jane ones. If anybody's seen a plain Jane large Sebenza 31 with a Tanto that's left-handed, let me know. Otherwise, I'm sticking with my Waypoint. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. You guys are the best fucking people on YouTube, on the planet. Absolutely a pleasure to be associated with you, interact with you. Thank you so much for watching my nonsense, and have a great day. I will catch you later.